Hi guys, we're live and I'm excited because today I have a guest. And not just any guest. My biz BFF. That's right, we brought it big today. You might actually, my actual BFF, not just my actual BFF. Brandy Lawson, who, is more than just my BFF. She's also, like, other stuff. So Brandy and I are going to talk about websites and why a whole new website might not actually be the right answer. And if it is the right answer, some data we need to have before we build it, not after.
Please, for the love of God.
Right. So we'll talk about all of that when the show starts in a few minutes. Until then, though, for the replay viewers, thanks for watching. And just because you're watching the replay does not mean you can't comment. Bring it, people.
Oh, true story.
I'm super excited. So let's start by, just on the off chance that somebody is crazy enough to be watching this for the first time and does not know who you are.
Oh, okay.
Who the hell are you?
So I'm Brandy Lawson. My company is Fiery Effects because we ignite the businesses of formidable female changemakers.
I like it.
Like I know a few. But it's a great, we really dig into and love marketing. Specifically, we do a lot of digital marketing and websites are definitely in the mix. But yeah, really helping business owners, specifically formidable females, make the right digital decisions because sometimes it's just hard. And talk about it in a very just non-technical, let's get stuff done way.
And the reason I wanted to bring Brandy on, because I know as you're hearing Brandy's intro, you're thinking, you guys do the same thing. We don't.
No,
we both own digital marketing agencies. And I want to point this out in the pre-show because it's not really the meat and potatoes of this episode, but I feel like maybe it's a worthwhile conversation to tell people who don't know. Not all digital marketing agencies are the same. In fact, Brandy and I's agencies work together quite frequently because we offer completely different service sets. We're working on client stuff together right now. Like, my next thing on my stuff is projects for Brandy's agency because we do different things. I like to describe it as she builds the house and we decorate it. I probably stole that from her. That's not the point. But the point is, not all agencies of any kind, quite frankly. I think we see this a lot in virtual assistants, in project managers, in digital marketers, even to social media people, even to website people.
Yes.
They're not necessarily the same thing. You want to get into the specifics.
Yeah, that.
This really gets me fired up of what their expertise is. Brandy and I have completely different, yet really super complementary expertises.
True story.
I am not going to probably help you make very good digital decisions, mostly because Brandy makes mine. True story.
True story.
Fiery Effects runs both of my websites. Literally earlier this week, I sent them an email and was like, is this a thing? Because Google sent me an email and I didn't know what it meant. And I know a pretty good amount. And I was
Google does that.
I don't know it. And then she was like, yeah, it was a false alarm. Simmer down. However, when there's, Instagram TV came out, Brandy emailed me and was like, is this a thing?
Exactly.
So don't judge by type or title. Judge by expertise. I think I know that's not at all what I told you we were going to talk about when I lured you into the van, but I feel like it's a necessary, because I'm sure you run into people all the time who, when you tell them they run a boutique digital agency, they're like, oh, can you manage our social media?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, well, I'll help you with the big picture strategy, and I'll help you know how to measure it. But if you want management, that's not. We work with other agencies that do that, or we will point you in the direction, depending on if you need us, or if you just need them, or you need both of us, because some clients do.
Yeah, we have, and also for those of you who are looking at your business and you're a service provider and you're thinking about, oh, well, there's another agency down this virtual street, they might actually be a really good partner. Like, on paper, in the old school way of thinking about business, Brandy and I should not be friends.
Right. True story.
We should be mortal competitors and enemies. Fighting to the death.
Oh, that sounds exhausting.
Mostly because I'd win. I probably wouldn't win. But it's not that way. In fact, our businesses support each other very nicely because we do offer complimentary services. You know, when I need, full disclosure, we have clients in the agency whose Brandy's teams manage their websites. Now, we offer other services. We handle their social media and their email, and we actually handle the content part of their website management. But all of the security, all of the backups, all of the design work was done by Brandy and her team. So whether you're in a service-based business and you're looking at, hey, is that person a competitor, friend or foe, if you will, or if you're somebody looking for services, not everybody named something does the same thing. That's especially true in our space, yeah?
Amen. Hallelujah.
So, we've got a couple more minutes left of the pre-show. As you're joining us live, because I see we've got some people watching, be sure to jump into the comments and say hi and tell us who you are and where you're watching, and then I'll be obsessed with your weather. Because you've seen the show. That's what I do in the pre-show, is I just get obsessed with your weather. It's because I live in Southern California and we have no weather. But it's nice to have no weather, so
I'm like,
suck it. To be fair, no, I had a conversation with somebody today, a new friend who is in Boston, who is fighting like triple-digit heat in Boston. I have another friend of mine who lives in New York and who also has 100 degrees in New York, and I'm like, it's 75 right now. Sunny, there's a little bit of a breeze.
Hey, it got down to like 84 this morning.
It's clearly fall in Phoenix.
Right?
By the way, Brandy's in Phoenix, and she does a lot of speaking around town. She also hosts a meetup in Phoenix, so if you have needs,
which is now an internationally attended meetup. We had a guy from Manage WP who was in from Serbia.
That's so cool.
It was fun.
You know what really, and again, this is fun pre-show stuff, so we get to ramble about nothing for another minute and 10 seconds.
Awesome.
One of the things I love most about that meetup is there are several people who are digital nomads. There are several people who sort of bump in and out and who spend a large part of their year somewhere else. Either they're winter visitors in Phoenix or they're just sort of between Johns, but there's several, I won't say a lot, but there are several people who are like travelers.
Well, we had a guy who works for Bluehost. We had the guy from Manage WP come in from Serbia. We have one of the digital nomads was back from Mexico. One of the longtime community members is now in charge of basically all of the publishing properties for one of the biggest magazine companies in the U.S. They reach 2/3 of the American population every day with and they're rolling it to WordPress. It's crazy.
To be fair, there are a couple of
fun.
people in the Arizona WordPress community who work with some pretty high-level publishers. WordPress, not just for small businesses.
No.
I've learned this. I'm always like, really?
They're going to do what?
And then I hear like the things they have to do to manage that kind of thing, and I'm like, oh God, I'm out. I'm 100% out. All right, so welcome to the show. It's 2:00. I will make Brandy introduce herself again for those watching and just joining us. A brief rundown of who I am in case you've never seen the show before, in which case, man, am I glad you made it this far. I am the Stacey Harris, social media strategist and trainer. I do everything from training to run an agency that has done-for-you services. So anywhere on the spectrum that you are, we work with service and info-based women in business. So if you need help, we can serve you anywhere along the road, which is cool yet wildly overwhelming some days. Just keeping it real. It's been that kind of day, guys. So I made a major screw up. And I talked about this on Instagram stories, and I told you this before we went live. I don't usually do calls at all on Thursdays. I somehow managed to book myself back to back since 9 o'clock this morning. And it's 2:00 in the afternoon now. I don't totally know how it happened, but I really only have myself to blame because I manage my own calendar, which could be the problem. So it's going to be one of those shows. I'm really excited, though, because I get to lean on and depend on, once again, to bring the responsibility and wisdom. I am just a flaming mess over here. Brandy Lawson of Fiery Effects, who, by the way, we are simulcasting to both pages. So if you're here from Fiery Effects and you're like, who the heck is this rambling girl? I'm the Stacey Harris, host of Hit the Mic TV Live, which is what's happening to you right now.
Yay! And this is why Stacey does all the live social media bitsy things, because she can do that.
I set it up yesterday and I was like, I wonder if when she gets a notification, she's going to wonder what the hell that is. But I thought, I trust that she'll figure out Stacey did something to her Facebook page yet again.
True story.
So, Brandy, before we sort of jump into the meat and potatoes of this, one more time, run through who the heck you are.
Okay, so I'm Brandy Lawson. My company is Fiery Effects. We ignite businesses for formidable female changemakers, business owners who are ready to light it up. And really, I love the big picture planning strategy. Obviously, websites, we're going to be talking about websites, but making the right digital decisions in your business. And then metrics, all of the things reporting, because it helps us with the decision making.
Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about analytics a lot today.
Because it is how you make better decisions.
So
no
let's just jump right into this, because I feel like this is something we're both going to get fairly fired up about, because I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. Shocker. This all stemmed from a conversation we had during a weekly call we have every Monday morning, where I was like, I need you to tell my community this thing, because I need someone besides me to say it. This is a double soapbox moment, guys. Beware. I really should have had a warning in the description. Double soapbox. But here's the deal. I find that I get these emails, and I'm sure you get them too, a lot, where it's like, I just need a whole new website because my website doesn't work. And I'm like, cool. Tell me how it's not working. Well, I'm just not getting any clients from it. So what kind of traffic are you getting? I don't know. Well, what do you use to like market your website? Oh, SEO. Oh, did you have somebody do SEO for yours? No. But I put a new blog post up once a month.
I have Yoast.
No, none of those things equal marketing, guys. And here's the thing is you need to know what it is exactly that you are looking for help with. So, Brandy, can you give us a breakdown of what some of the metrics are that they need to be paying attention to? Like, what are the things you would ask when they say, I need a new website? What are the things they need to look at to qualify the answer for that question?
Yes. So, first of all, sort of what's the motivation? What has sparked you to think that you needed a new website? Is it that you aren't making any sales from your website? Is it that something was working and is no longer working? Or is it that your business just is in a state and you're like, oh, the website must be what's wrong? But when you are ready to think about changes to your website, the first thing you do need to know is how many eyeballs are you even getting? How many people are coming to your site on a weekly or monthly basis? Because if you aren't doing things off of your website to drive people to your website, there may not be anybody there. It might only just be the people that you've met at a networking event or that have seen you in person, which is not a bad thing, but you need to know how many people are seeing it. The other thing, which is not analytics, is that you have to be clear about the role your website plays in your business. What do you need it to do? I didn't say desire it to do. This isn't like the lottery winning moment is, if I had, blah, blah, no. Thinking very critically about your business and how you are getting clients currently, and not just might be referrals. That's okay. It might be speaking. That's great too. It might be networking. It might be that you are just like the world's best LinkedIn connector and you are getting people there. Super duper. Or it could be that you were getting people coming to your website, submitting your contact form, and all right, how are you currently getting clients? Great. And then what is the role of your website in that process?
Well, and
I have clients whose website didn't have a role. Oh, you have a question?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I have clients whose website didn't have a role. When we got to really talking about it, they didn't actually need more leads. What they needed is for the people who were coming to them to trust them faster. And because if they didn't, it was a really long and arduous sales cycle. It wasn't that they didn't have enough people to talk to. It was that it took for freaking ever to turn them into clients. So it could be that your website's job is to build trust and authority as quickly as possible. It could be that it needs to be for leads. It could be that it needs to get you booked for speaking gigs. What is its role? Figure it out, because none of the rest, anything after how many eyeballs doesn't really matter unless you know what it's supposed to be doing.
And we talk a lot about this. I think the most sort of like shortcut explanation for this is we talk a lot about this with Facebook ads too. It's oh, my Facebook ads didn't result in any sales. Often it's not about the Facebook ad. It's about the landing page. And even more than that, it's not always about that the button wasn't in the right place. It was that maybe there wasn't a button. Yes, this actually happened one time with a consult. I had someone email me. They're like, my Facebook ads aren't working. I'm like, there's no button on your landing page.
You know what? Actually, did you try to buy well, I think you pre-bought your ticket, but I went to try to buy my ticket for TNC,
yes!
For Digital Marketer.
Yes!
No, I'm sorry, I can't I select one and there's nothing else for me to do. I can't buy the ticket.
And here's the deal. I think that's such a great example because here's they're a massive company who teaches this. It happens to all of us. We all screw this up somewhere down the road. Brandy and I have both screwed this up. Like, it's not that we sort of are sitting on these pedestals of like, oh, we've got this all figured out. We've just already screwed this up. So let us from further down the path tell you how not to screw this up. It's so interesting to me because oftentimes it's not necessarily about, hey, I'm getting them here and it's just not converting. It's are you even getting them there? Like, is the problem your front end marketing stuff? Is it the social? Is it the email? Is it that you're just not telling anybody you have a website? Or is it that what's on the website, like just the copy isn't working? Like, then it's not a whole new website. It's a copywriter. Those are two incredibly different projects. And the same copy on a new looking website is not going to convert any better.
Yes.
And I always go back to, let's take it a step further and say, okay, now we know what the role is. Who do we want to do stuff?
Right.
Because that's so often skipped as I'm making all of these decisions. And yes, I'm looking at these metrics, but are these metrics at all relevant to the people who I want to be talking to? We see this a lot with clients who have moved directions. And they're looking at analytics from a different ideal client from who they're talking to now.
Yes, context is so critical. And yes, I mean, everything goes back to, I did a whole video about it. Every answer to every marketing question ever. Who's your target audience? Who are you trying to talk to? Nobody's opinion, but theirs matters. Lead them.
And I think when you figure out what you're trying to do with the tool and who you want to do the stuff, you literally answer all the other marketing questions. Like, those two pieces will solve the whole rest of the puzzle. That's how you make your digital and marketing decisions, is with those two pieces of information. I don't care what anybody expert tells you is the latest and greatest thing. If it doesn't fit your goals and your ideal client thinks it's dumb, then it's a waste of your time.
Yes.
It just is. It's that kind of day, guys. It just is. I have no other facts. It just is. But so I want to take this back and I want to look at sort of the pieces. So, okay, maybe we don't need a whole new website. What is it that maybe we do need? We mentioned copywriters. We mentioned sort of briefly, you may straight up just need marketing. But inside our site, what are some of the things that we need to make sure we have in place? Like contact buttons, like buy buttons. Maybe we're missing.
Yeah, so the job of your website, whatever it is, at some point, it will need to convert. And convert just simply means that the people who are coming are doing what you're asking them to do. So if it's to book you for a speaking gig, you're getting those. If it's to buy your widget, you're getting buy. Or if it's to establish authority, you're finding that people visit your website and they get your thing, or they go, oh yeah, I saw that on your website. Or, you're starting to feel that. That's a little bit more harder to measure. But the whole conversion conversation. And then we break it into, there's technical aspects to your website. So we're mostly over the hump of stuff not being good on mobile, but...
Mostly.
Mostly. But
Check that
you
just in
have
case, guys.
you've gone to your site, if someone has gone to your site on their phone and been like, I couldn't find that XYZ, okay, that's a technical issue. That goes deeper. That may require a new site if the technical issue goes deep enough. We will save the platform and technical conversation. But there are certain technical aspects that could require a whole new deal. Other technical aspects can be fixed. And then there's what's on the page, the content of it, the copy, the call to action. Is there a call to action on every single page? Is it arranged so people can get to things? Are you leading them through the website? Mega menus, as they've called those menus that expand and are this deep and this wide, that's actually not good for marketing. If you have a site where you're trying to get people to do things, lead them. Make sure that there's less than 5 options in the menu as sort of a rule of thumb. And tell them what to do next. If they land on your page and they said, yeah, I want this thing, then tell them the next thing to do. I recently worked with a bunch of pet sitters. Their conversion funnel looks like you come here, you book a meet and greet. Okay, great. And then what? Oh, and then you register on the site. And then you schedule your appointment. You have to lead them through the process. So breaking it all down, there's technical, there's on-page content, and then there's, I'll call it sort of the hybrid between technical and the content, which can be the search engine marketing, the optimization, how the things are going together, if you've got all the right pieces. But it could be that you're just unclear about who this is for, and people get there and they're like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. It could be that you're not getting enough people there and they don't even get a chance to read your fantastic converting copy. So it takes a bit of dissecting to figure out exactly where things are going awry. And if all of the things are going awry, that might be a sign of a new website. But if only one thing's going awry, you probably can fix it.
Well, and what I want to sort of end this on, I want to wrap it up with, is how we figure out what those pieces are. Well, that happens with your existing site. That happens before we build a new site. You know, I get so many clients who come in through the agency side, and I'm like, you know, they want a new landing page for a funnel we're building or something, and our team will take care of that. But it's like, well, great. Do we have some data with how landing pages have worked before? Do you have like any heat mapping tools or anything? And they're like, huh? And I'm like, oh God, you have literally piles of information coming into your website every day. If you're already doing these marketing pieces, you're already checking the boxes on driving traffic to your site. You've got those weekly and monthly numbers. Don't leave that data on the table. Make sure your Google Analytics are set up. Make sure you have a heat mapping tool. I think Hotjar is like free, isn't it?
Yeah, Hotjar is free.
Like, start getting that information. And for those of you who don't know what a heat mapping tool is, let's just sort of talk about that for a second, because I think it's a marketer's best friend. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. So a heat mapping tool allows you to actually see visually where people are spending time on your page. So it will tell you how far they've scrolled. It will tell you what buttons they've clicked, where they've clicked them. It will tell you where people hover, where their cursors hang out. Hotjar also has recording capabilities, which will actually record a session, and you will see how people navigate your web page. Because, I mean, the honest, you could be the most experienced digital marketer in the world, Ryan Dice, and you can look stupid next to A/B testing. You can make good, educated guesses, and when real life happens and people interact with your page, they may do things that you didn't predict they would do.
Like try to buy something.
Right. Well, I once had a client who had a pretty well optimized and well converting freebie page. When I put on heat mapping, we realized they were trying to click this banner at the top that really had nothing to do with but they were trying to click it. So we made it clickable, and the conversion rate went up by 10%. So you don't really know what people are going to do until they start doing it. So if you can track it, then you can make optimizations.
And I really love heat mapping on the other side, on the purchase price side. I know there's a lot of you who are watching right now who have courses or who have membership sites. One of the ways I make decisions on how the membership site changes and evolves, and quite frankly, even what kind of trainings we do, is I watch the recordings from the heat map. Now, this isn't super stalkery. I don't see the name. I'm not like watching you. I can't see your camera. I'm literally, it's just a screencast. I'm just seeing what you're doing on your computer, and it's not attached to an identifiable name. It's just, hey, they went this way through the logins. Or I found, the reason there's a side menu on the membership site is because I found people sort of pulled their mouse over there and they were using that side more. So we put as many of the important options as possible in that side menu because we learned that they were making those choices when they were in the course pages. So we pulled it throughout, and we got that information through heat mapping, through watching these recordings and how people were engaging with the site. There's so much data so that you can be making informed decisions, and also the results of any testing you're doing. Like, so often we hear about the power of testing, and I hear, people, especially in the online space, all the time being like, oh yeah, I'm going to A/B test my subject lines. And I'm like, great. And then you start to have a conversation about the data, and they can't tell you anything. I'm like, well, you spent all the time, money, and effort testing it. You should probably look at what information you netted from that experience.
Right. And, okay, spoiler alert, sometimes the information is garbage. Sometimes you don't get a clear delineation between A and B because you didn't have enough people look at it. Sometimes there wasn't enough difference. Sometimes you made too many changes. If you're trying to test a couple versions and you change a whole bunch of things, if one works better than the other, you don't really know why. So testing in itself can be very nuanced, and you don't always get a clear red light, green light from it. But it is worth doing because you can get better results or change something from sucking to being better by figuring out what about it made it suck.
Well, and this is where I sort of get next level nerdy. We just had a client here in the office with me for a consult, and we were talking about segmenting their audience. Sometimes that testing results in segment 1 really likes A and segment B really likes B. Whatever. I mixed up my numbers. That's why I'm not good at algebra. But, group 1 really likes A and group 2 really likes B. Sometimes it's not so yes and no. It's like, oh, well, no, this section of my audience is here and this section of my audience is here. I need to use slightly different language to talk to them. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Now I'm maximizing my benefits and my revenue and my conversions in 2 audiences. And that's nothing but good news.
Yes.
And apparently I can't do algebra. Anyways, so that's what I wanted to take away today. So often I see people coming to me, and I know you have it coming to you too, where it's like, I need a whole new website. Before we start, doing this social media strategy, I need a whole new website. I'm like, you really don't. We need to maybe tweak some things on your website. But in a lot of cases, for the people who I'm talking to, it's how about we tell people you have a website once in a while, and I bet your content will go through the roof. And in some cases, let's make sure we've made the technical decisions on the back end that they can buy and call. And I actually, before I let you go, one quick story. I'm looking for a photographer. We're going to do new headshots, which is a whole other story. And a friend of mine sent me 3 photographers. I had to I went through every page on their website. I had to go off their website to their Facebook page to find out where they were. Bad digital decision. Now, they don't need an entirely new website because of that. They just need to add some, quite frankly, some SEO enriching location words.
Just tell me how to get a hold of you, for the love of God.
I'm like, would you just tell me where? I want to give you my money. I love your work. Your photos are fantastic. Thanks for plastering them all over your website. Could you tell me where you are? That would be wonderful. 3 photographers. Couldn't tell you where they are. Had to go to Facebook. Even on Facebook, I could only find location of 1.
What? Wow.
Yep.
And it could be that they actually made that as a decision because they didn't want to freak people out that they weren't in the right location, which is bad.
Again, you talk to all people. You talk to no people. Thank you, Marie Forleo. If you travel and we'll do on-site shoots, great. Put that with your location information. Also fantastic.
Sanitize. Also fantastic. Yeah, do a Google My Business page, for the love of God.
That would be great. All right, so that's it. The show's already longer than it usually is. So thank you, Brandy, for hanging out with me and so
my pleasure.
With me. I felt like if 2 of us told them, maybe they'd believe me. If you guys have any questions and you want to know more about Brandy and her team, they're fantastic. I highly recommend her WordPress services specifically, but all of her services, yes. Check out fieryeffects.com. I know she happens to have 2 live events coming up, one in Denver and one in Phoenix. I will be at the one in Phoenix. Not that that's going to sway you over which one you go to, but I'm just saying there is value. I attended this event that she did in a previous month as to now, and it was fantastic. I actually have a Google My Business listing because of that event. That's right. We're going local, people. We're branching out. So thank you, Brandy, very much. Again, go check out fieryeffects.com, and I will see you guys next Thursday.
Bye.